They are in a very different game now. They've got Red 2 on the Pango. They've got a much more active mid laner. He has so much more gas to work with. It's also just his best hero. Best in US East. I'm going to keep saying that because somebody else told me that the other day. So, will the best Pango in US East be able to beat Beast Coast? That's the question.
Hmm. And of course, they do put the ban on the Bloodseeker there just in case Parker was looking to pull that one out. And yeah, fair enough, right? Not a popular hero, but against a Pango, popularity is not important. Just a straight counter. But they do remove it. Unfortunately, that leaves you realistically now with just one ban to try and cover what remains of Parker's pool, which is pretty wide open, right? Other than the Lena, and I guess we'll count the Dawnbreaker ban. He's open for everything.
Yeah, Beast Ghost tried to ban out mid laners or flex off laners. 5RAT were just banning out off laners because they already picked up the Nature's Prophet. So it makes sense. It just means that there is that flexibility now. I think worst case scenario for 5RAT would be if they looked for some really weak safe laner and they switch speed onto that NP last second here. Even though I think offlane Nature's Prophet would probably do them some good. And of course, can't make that call just yet because we will see Parker's Heroes first. That's where 5RAT have that advantage with the last pick. But having the Pangolier in addition to the offlane Nature's build where he rushes the Ags, where he's constantly in the side lanes, sounds like some annoyance that really Primal Beast wouldn't have any of. You wouldn't want to play versus that. It's where I almost feel like that Ags timing in conjunction with whatever Red 2 is going to do in the Pango is strong enough for them to draft for it, but we still have to see because there's that flexibility. And historically, even though that was Speed's hero in this tournament, it has pretty consistently just been DNMs. But now everything is going to matter about these last two picks. And of course, Beast Coast have to lead the charge here. And Parker does get the respect ban against his TA. So aside from the TA and the Bloodseeker, we're wide open right now. Parker's going to hit us with his best shot.
Mm-hmm. The question is, what is that going to look like, right? The TB's in there. They could go for the morph again. I mean, they've got a lot of options, but they need something that maybe isn't scared of the silencer. And okay, sure, global silence can mess with your Requiem a little bit, but in terms of just doing damage, SF does not care about the global.
Yeah, and now DNM is going to pick Sniper. This is where he would pick Sniper, and of course, wins the Shadow Fiend matchup. And this is where you have to wonder what Beast Coast are thinking right now. If they think they're going to be able to jump him, if they're going to be able to get him in the backline. Historically, this is their pick. This is their answer to the Shadow Fiend. But something about Beast Coast makes me feel like they're ready for this. And we'll have to see. 5RAT have saved all of their reserve time for this final decision in the draft. So they really get to weigh all of their options with the Nature's Prophet and what they think is strong enough or capable enough of a lane. But that's where the Shadow Fiend is going to kill the rest of the lineup. It is very simple for him to just right-click everything, especially the Pangolier. It's where Red 2 is very helpless versus this hero. That's even if it is going to be Mr. Parker on said Shadow Fiend. Because Parker plays Kunkka. They could get SF versus Pango in the mid lane. They could even keep the players on their respective heroes, but still set up that laning situation where it is going to be that extra struggle for Pango, as it is the classic counter versus that hero. Where Beast Coast still have quite a bit of flexibility here, and 5RAT are still thinking about how they want to deal with this carry matchup versus the SF.
Yeah, they just have a tough choice at this stage because, well, if that is the switch up, right? If the SF ends up in the middle lane, can 5RAT afford to make a switch of their own? Could they try speed on the Pangolier and draft another mid laner at this stage?
And there we go.
Okay.
Okay, they lean into it. And Red 2 gets his Pango. Very confident Pango player. And we'll have to see now what the Morphling is going to be able to do versus the Shadow Fiend. Of course, another winning matchup for Morphling. Morphling wins all of his matchups, more or less, in Dota 2. But you need time. You need farm. Farm that is slow. You're also laning versus a Primal Beast. That same lane that we saw 5RAT duck out of in Game 1. But we'll have to see, because Beast Coast have stellar team fight. They've got great BKB timings on both Sacred and Dark Mago yet again. It's where I've definitely got some concerns, but I absolutely love that they do shift up that Nature's Prophet into Speed's hands. I think that Ag's timing is going to be everything. I think that gives them that much more AoE team fight power. And if it can come faster than those BKBs on the Kunk and the Primal Beast, 5RAT have at least one team fight that they should just absolutely stomp. It's just a matter of Speed getting his axe in time, and Red 2 just playing Pango, his beloved hero, and just having a fun time with it.
Mm-hmm. Got a little bit of a timing window. As you say, if they can get those items online, if they can get the lanes to play out the way that they want them to. And obviously, for DNM, we just saw what a very farmed and very free Morphling is capable of doing from Parker last time around. So, I mean, if DNM can even slightly emulate that kind of performance, 5RAT are going to be in a much better spot here than they were in the opening match.
Mm-hmm. And now, you just wait and see. And I think 5RAT, they've got everything they need to bank this game on. And a part of me is also very happy they picked Morphling instead of Sniper. Because, well, Beast Coast seemed quite ready for it. But we also get a little bit of a treat from Beast Coast. Get to see the Stinger Enchantress, something he's played a ton in the past, but has kind of shied away from. And will put a lot of pressure onto Moose, but we also get to see that battle over the small camp and maybe some cool micro tricks from Speed, making sure those camps stay blocked for as long as possible. And really, I love the offlane natures for that sole fact. You just get to do a little bit more. You get to play a little bit faster on that side lane, and you just get real items, even though it's not had the best win rate compared to the carry, but it could be a whole lot worse. And it's one of Speed's best. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm. Definitely something that he is comfortable with, but I don't know. I mean, I wanna see what the play is here from Stinger, because he has not really gotten to play that Enchantress much in sort of recent times here, and gotta wonder what his build is gonna look like, because this Enchantress almost gets into, well, maybe not quite there, but into sort of Marcy-like territory. If the game goes long enough, if Stinger is finding farm and keeping his death count low, he does damage. I mean, Impetus is a serious buff up, and against some low HP supports like Silencer, like Rubik, if you can rely on Stinger to bring one of those guys down early, then it changes the entire nature of the fight that follows.
Yeah, I think in NASA, they still really lean into that more traditional 5 position, where I think the best example is probably Celery from Game and Gladiators, where he just
Mm-hmm.
gets farm, he just gets lance, and then some form of attack speed. He always gets a Grove Bow as well, so maybe he's cheating, but that's where that EU Enchantress just hits a little bit different, because they turn it into a core. He really becomes that 4.5, sometimes even just the actual 4, and then can just straight up carry team fights, but we'll have to see what Stinger decides to do, because we've also seen those surpluses where you just get so much farm on a certain hero, and you just start to walk away with the game. But lanes will start, and we don't see that tricky play with the Shadow Fiend versus Pango. They keep their lanes very typical from Beast Coast. They're just laning their comfort.
Mm-hmm. Just have Parker chill down in the bottom lane. Stinger's going to run as much interference for him as possible, and, well, we'll see how that plays out. How much pressure this duo can put onto him, because I don't know. Rubik and Nature's Prophet don't have the best kill potential unless you've just got a long duration Sprout Trap. But on the other side, Parker, he's Shadow Fiend. There's no mobility at play here. So if you do catch him out of position, he is very slow and potentially vulnerable.
Yeah. I think the only time we should really see a kill attempt is if Speed has 4 stacks of Shadow Raises on him, which should almost never happen, or once Parker gets level 3, we have those 2 points up in Shadow Raise, where you have that huge uptick in damage, which is somehow more efficient than any other level up in Shadow Fiend, or of Shadow Raise, which is, a peculiarity in Dota 2. But otherwise, they're just trading, making sure not to get too denied on those range creeps. Both sides can really easily secure them, so nobody's going to get slowed down too hard.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, take a look at the mid matchup here. Dark Mago versus Red 2. Red 2 gets his Pango, but okay. A tough matchup to get onto the Kunkka and deal damage to him, but apparently Tia moved the camera away a little bit too soon there, because Parker just gets entirely caught out. Level 2 on the Rubik is maybe a little bit faster than he thought, and it's a quick and easy kill.
Yeah, he was getting body blocked up by the Nature's Call as well. Just got those treants out and in front. Stinger desperately tried to enchant one of the treants to try and stop the block early, But Parker also not buying any regen, not getting any tangos given over from Stinger either. He's gone completely greedy for the boots build, and he got his boots, but cost him his life.
Yeah, well, back into lane, reset, pull it under tower, try to catch back up as quickly as possible, but just a rough play at the start of the lane for him. So we do see Stinger trying to push forward, right? As we mentioned, just running distraction, creating space where he can. So that is still the nature of the game here. The early death does not change that in the slightest. As in the top lane, oh, Schofield taking some damage, but he was able to create the opening for Sacred to push in there. The Primal Beast gets the kill, and now if you're DNM, how much further are you willing to take this? About that far. Tries for the kill with the adaptive strike, but Fairy Fire keeps Schofield alive, and East Coast get their first kill on the board, and Schofield is not backing off. He's coming back in, but with the TP from the silencer, now it's probably time to just back up and heal.
Yeah. He's got the tangos going. He's got a shared tango from his teammate as well, so good guy Sacred, but always need to be very cautious. Glass cannon effectively on the silencer. Very easy for you to go down, especially if they can catch you in between those arcane curses where they are just going to outpace you. Sacred just got his boots as well, so those tramples are going to be fearsome. Even though they are going to get harassed quite heavily in this lane, as they already kind of are. But doing a good job so far of just blast hitting, being calm, being patient. We'll see. Once Schofield gets a few more levels, then we can really see them start to ramp up aggression onto DNM. But DNM himself has even picked up the raindrops already, so he knows the kind of lane he's in. He's made the steps to survive.
Yeah, getting through the raindrops is going to be... not impossible, pretty hard. As Dark Mako gets picked off mid, Moose rotates his way in, and... oh, they had the vision, they had the rotation. Dark Mako just isn't quite ready to deal with that. Doesn't even have any sort of early bracer or his boots, or full boots rather. Gets caught out.
Yeah, and on the water rune timing, so Red 2 gets a full reset there with his HP and mana. Just great stuff. Exactly what you need to do. Slow down the Kunkka, accelerate your Pango, make sure Red 2 gets his level 6 first, and then we could see those early rotations, even earlier rotations coming from him, which could catch either side lane completely off guard.
Meanwhile, back down bot, Parker left all by himself. Stinger steps out of lane to try and go for the pull. And again, well, back to what we were sort of saying before, the Shadow Fiend, there's no mobility. There's nothing to do there. If he gets pulled back like that, he's just got to walk his way out, and unable to do so. And now the first death ET, unfortunate, but we were saying, you know, he could probably recover from that. 2 deaths in the lane now, and it's kind of rough. The only saving grace is the fact that he is very much the top hero in the game right now in terms of the CS.
Yeah. He's killing trees, he's slinging spells. Speed's also been left alone for a little bit, but again, they get the kill bottom. Moose rotates around. Red 2 is now level 6. He's got that XP advantage over the Kunkka, and Red 2's doing it, making the kills happen. I'm sure maybe top lane is still a little bit unfortunate there with the silencer. Just not much the DNM can do to help his ally aside from maybe throw out a short 1-second adaptive strike, but mid lane is a massive success. Red 2 needs a little bit more mana, but he's barreling towards his early item timings. He's getting his bottle refilled. He's got the Rolling Thunder. If there's ever a timing, we're coming up on it. Gonna miss out on the 6-minute power rune, but aside from that, had a great start to his game.
Now, this is where they're going to try and take advantage of this. They go in with the
perfect.
rolling, and they actually knock him back into the river. He is completely trapped and killed, and Schofield, I mean, he's there, but there's nothing he can do.
Win Red 2's lane, ruin Dark Mago's game. This is the strategy. It's working for him so far. Of course, now Red 2 is tapped for mana, and this has all been just aggression, back mid, and Sacred looking for some revenge.
Okay. Trample damage is in. They get the slow, they get the kill. Speed, though, TP's in, and they're going to try and turn this into a larger fight. The curse is thrown down as well. Sacred has pulverize. Yeah, he's going to give it a go. A lot of damage being dealt. Not enough to kill anyone off just yet, but here comes Stinger into the fight. Booze will get picked off. Speed is able to TP away, but AB1 is taken out as well. So Beast Coast extract a heavy toll there. They get 3 kills in total, but Dark Mago dies first. He is not there for any of that. No gold, no experience, and Red 2 might actually just be able to take down Schofield here, not getting the kill initially. But they can't keep that fight going. There's really nothing left out of the snap, and Dark Mago doesn't have the damage to do it alone.
Yeah. 2-hero shield crash basically nullifies any damage from the Tidebringer. It's where Pango is just really just too far. Red 2 has his ulti again, so he's just going to look to get even more aggressive. And, more importantly, with the big win of Red 2's lane, they drag Sacred out of top, which means DNM gets free farm. Okay, they also drag Speed out of bottom, so Parker gets the same amount of space. So it goes both ways for sure, but giving space over to that Morphling is just going to feel a little bit more important. And now, Speed has his ulti, Wrath of Nature's back alive. 5RAT are going to look for that next big pickoff play, and it should just straight up work. Their early game spells are just that much better. They're even smoking Moose here to make this rotation even faster, and Parker's got to be so careful here. They want to sack a support in front, but they run past Stinger, they make it past these heroes, and Parker trying to interrupt the Archcamp pull. It's just not going to work, and there you go.
Cookie does not move him as the Rolling Thunder comes in instead, so Parker's going to die. Schofield got off into the tree line, but Red 2's still chasing. They know exactly where he is. They're going to keep on going into the trees. Schofield now trapped by the Sprout. And it's a bit of a slow kill there, but they're just waiting for the Swashbuckler to come back up. Red 2 gets the kill. And ET, 5RAT, playing this exactly the way that they were sort of hoping to when they drafted up these heroes. All right, the pressure's on. The pace is in a position that they like. They're getting pressure now onto the tower, and well, Stinger gotta be a little bit careful here. He is in some trouble. He's gonna look for his TP out, but Red 2's got the damage. Just breaks through it. Sacred, though, is trying to push his way in. He's not got pulverized, though. 3 seconds left on the cooldown. So he is just charging his way forward. Now he gets the pulverize off. Meanwhile, Ghost Ship catches out Moose to the east, so they will take him down. But Sacred is in a very bad spot here. Can they save him? No, they can't. But at this point, they're just trying to trade it out. Red 2, though, in the roll. Doesn't take the magic damage. TP's home, and they lose Speed, but at this point, Speed is kind of secondary. If the Pango gets the kill and gets away, that's all they're looking for.
Yeah. Red 2 gets to live. They still get a return on their trade. They get pretty much every ultimate out of Beast Coast. And, again, they drag all attention away from DNM, who is just happily farming in the top lane. He's got max wait for him. He farms the jungle extremely quickly. And at the beginning of all that, they just straight up killed Parker. It's back again. The aggression in the mid lane. Stolen X-Mark and Dark Mago kind of in over his head here. And I think he's got backup, but I don't know if he's going to walk this one out. I think he's just going to have to try and trade.
Well, he tried. Did not go fantastically. Sacred, though, gets in with the onslaught, so they will find a kill. And now with the pulverize onto Red 2, they're going to give this a go. Parker's coming in. And Red 2 does not have any spells available. Can they catch? There's the cookie. It does get the stun. And they're going to push their way forward. Moose is, well, able to use a stolen pulverize to kind of break that up. And Parker, okay, did not need the raises. Gets the right click instead. So Moose will fall, and they get both of the supports, ET, but they do not get the Pango, who is now turning around. He is going to go for this. Global is deployed. Onslaught is canceled. And the Primal Beast goes down. Red 2 really just pushing every possible limit here, but there's a reason why he's considered one of the best. He knows exactly how far he can push it, as Dark Mago is now getting caught out in the bottom lane. His Ghost Ship really doesn't even have time to land before they pick him off.
Yeah. To start off that play, Speed just got on top of him, was body blocking him, was very obnoxious, and now, okay, maybe AB1 gets taken out by the supports, but even then, it's not the cleanest kill, and it might just bait you all into your death, and yeah, oh, maybe, but he's dancing, and he's dancing.
And he is safe. His teammates, though, may not be. Speed gets in there, tries for the pulverize. It's canceled immediately, but they still get the kill onto Speed, and they're locking down the Morphling. But he's, yeah, now he's starting to shift. Now this fight gets complicated. Red 2 coming in. Missed with the swashbuckle, but still doing the damage. Schofield will fall. Sacred goes down. And AB1 just walks away from all of that. So They do lose a core. Speed goes down there, but at this point, I mean, speed for 3, they're getting more and more comfortable just kind of sacking the Nature's Prophet and trading him for kills as Dark Mego. He has been spotted. Lucky Shot's going to disarm him here as well. And with the Rolling Thunder, Dark Mago's just going to get picked off. He really doesn't have any way out of this.
Just chain disabled, just stolen, just taken out. Just really free picks, and immediately, Speedport's mid, Nature's Call, gets aggressive onto this mid-tier 1. And Beast Coast have Glyph, but they'd also be throwing their bodies at a team fight that I don't know if they want without their Kunkka yet again. These team fights are exactly where Dark Mega wants to play, but with him getting isolated, taken down early, he just never gets to start his own fight. It feels very reactive from Beast Coast. And yeah, it's a free tier 1.
No defense really mounted there, and Parker, well, he's not ready. He went for the Mask of Madness, which, sure, it does increase his farming rate, but it doesn't do him any good in terms of getting into any sort of engagement unless his teammates entirely set him up. And Sacred, he is trying. This is not really great for him. He is very nearly killed off, and now the Global going to be deployed. Ghost Ship did still hit onto 2, though, so they're trying to make something happen here, but HPs are looking a little bit low. Parker, though, channeling the Requiem from the high ground. They got onto Red 2, but where's the damage? They need a little bit more. The Impetus is going to get it. As Red 2 will fall, and now they're going to turn for the Kisses. Stolen Ghost Ship, though, will come through, so Schofield has to reposition. East Coast starting to break up a little bit, chasing multiple kills, looking for AB1 to the east. Not able to catch up to him, and then, well, Moose actually gets away in the trees as well, so they don't get any further kills, ET, but they got the big one. They finally take that Pangolier out.
Yeah. Do have to be cautious of him still. He's going to TP back out onto the map with the completed Diffusal Blade, as well as his Rolling Thunder back off cooldown. But there's still just nobody touching DNM. The Morphling is unaffected by any of the craziness going on in this game, and a large part of it is because Nature's Prophet is the only hero that can create those summons, who can really force down these objectives. There's no Death Prophet, there's no Beastmaster, there's no easy way for Beast Coast to take down this top tower. But he's just farming, and eventually DNM will join this game. He will enter the fights, and at that point, I mean, you've had free farm for 15 minutes, brother. There's never been a better circumstance for you to kind of carry this one for your team, I think.
Mm-hmm. The other side of things, the cores for Beast Coast are, they're not doing terribly, right? You see Parker, he's second in the net worth, but he's still about 1,000 gold behind that Morphling. So if it comes to a man fight, that was already a scenario where the Shadow Fiend's probably not going to feel comfortable, and now you're even further behind that exchange. So if you're Beast Coast, you're going to have to look to take it through your overall sort of team fight strength here. But so far, ET, we haven't quite seen the right execution from them. It's been enough to get them trades here and there, but definitive wins have been kind of hard to come by, as Sacred is getting jumped in on. Stolen Ghost Ship still. And now DNM is starting to get involved. Picks up the kill, and on the other side of the map, do they want to chase this across the river? Not really.
It's a very free pick. Just very nice read from them. They didn't even have a lane ward for that smoke. Just knew that Sacred was playing the way that he was, and to make it happen. However, got to keep these pickoffs going. Can't allow Beast Coast to farm themselves back into this game. They're looking for a double BKB timing to actually fight against 5RAT, and especially the Global Silence, which has just stopped up any of those large-scale team fights from happening. But they're also trying to set up in that top lane. Moose is skulking behind Parker right now, but Sacred also scouts out AB1 in the river. And they're going to have to choose a target pretty soon here.
Parker's not
Red
leaving.
2. Yeah. And okay.
Alright, that works. Moose, not going to get taken down by the Requiem, but it does buy him the time to TP away, and okay. If Parker's willing to commit that cooldown to get himself out, then more power to him. He was able to take pretty much all of this camp before he left, so it's a weird sort of efficiency, ET, but it's efficiency all the same.
Yeah, and during all of this, Speed's doing what I love. He's blocking up the camps. He's scouting everywhere. He's putting his treants on patrol. They're blocking up the triangle. They're blocking up the large camps. They're scouting the lanes. 5RAT are just ready to slow up their opponents, and this triple BKB timing from Beast Coast is just not a coming. Only one player is really able to get the good farm in the lane at a time. They're spread out pretty far as well, but only the supports are really feeling comfortable enough to get past and far past his tier 2s. And Sacred, he's just trying to do his job, trying to get close to his BKB. Just gets taken down, just gets picked off. I don't know if they're going to find the ward either. They do finally unblock their ancient camp, but 5RAT are starving their opponents right now.
Not giving them any space for really more than one guy at a time to be pushing forward. Just shy of a 5k net worth lead, and looking for Schofield down bot. Not going to be able to catch him, but they do catch out Stinger. New damage coming in. DNM, waveforms forward. The kisses are going to try to finish off Moose. But there's your global silence. Moo's not dead yet. Snaking his way through the trees. Not hit by the scatter blast. And now, over in the river, Dark Mago, he is entirely by himself. He is going to be forced to pop his BKB, going for the TP home. And he doesn't make it out in time. Waited too long to start it. They've got the damage to kill him. And, well, like night and day here, ET, between Game 1 and Game 2. 5RAT are feeling confident, and Beast Coast are just not on point with some of these decisions.
Yeah, and for 5RAT, we are still waiting for some of those key items to be done before they're really ready to get that next stage of the game started. As soon as 5RAT feel comfortable enough, they are just going to go into the pit with Nature's Prophet, with Morphling, get that first Aegis for DNM, and then they're out of any danger, basically. They just get to farm towards those big items, just got the Manta Style finished on that Morphling, and that's when they really just start to walk over Beast Coast even harder than what they're currently doing. And Beast Coast, well, slowly but surely, they've gotten to their timing. 2 of their cores have BKBs. Parker's about to finish the 3rd, and then they have to win that team fight. They lose with their BKB timing, well, there's not going to be much more game left to play for Beast Coast. They need that gold. They need that XP. Nothing has gone right for them for what feels like 10 minutes or so. As a high ground ward here, a fight, trying to get on top of Red 2. They're trying to collapse, but it's not happening.
But they've already lost Stinger. Sacred's going to get cleaned up immediately afterwards, and this play is just broken. Trying to get Schofield away with the TP, but he doesn't make it out in time. Faster channel time on the Rolling Thunder. And that just fails entirely. Smoke play does not work. They lose 3. And, well, your Shadow Fiend, he's going to try and sneak his way over all the way to top because he still needs a little bit more for that BKB, and I guess that's the one thing that can be taken away. That was a fight where those BKBs didn't actually get used, so if you're Beast Coast, you have not hit that point of no return just yet, but that's a small consolation prize. You still lost 3 heroes.
Yeah. The only bright side there for Beast Coast is you didn't use your 9-second. Sacred was patient. He said, I'm dead. Just let it happen. Didn't go. And 5RAT as well have not greeted for their BKBs either. If they can especially get on top of speed early, he has just gone straight for the Gleipnir. He could be very vulnerable in Dark Mago. On the run, DNM trying to kill him. He's 2 more right clicks away, but gets away, and now the team fight breaking out.
Oh, speed did catch him on the backside, though, so Dark Mago does still fall, but Beast Coast finally find the fight that they wanted. They're able to take down the 2 supports. They're trying to get on DNM as well, but this fight's breaking apart. Parker's left alone on the backside. Stinger's already dead. There's just no one to help him, and now all of a sudden, if you're Sacred, do you just suicide for this kill? It looks like that might be the play for him, but he may not even get it. Pigpull is going to allow that Nature's Prophet to get away, and with his teammates coming in, they will clean up that fight in ET. Oh, this is what you said you couldn't afford to let happen. They popped their BKBs, they pushed in for a fight with Dark Mago already down 90% of his health, and they lose that fight.
Yeah, it's messy. They get the support duo early, but they're fighting into another Arcane Rune Pango, and it just is too much. It's too many spells. Every single man fight as well that Parker looked to get into, he just loses. He doesn't have enough farm. He is the lowest net worth of those 3 cores. He's behind everybody. That was just speed right-clicking him to death without a BKB, without getting stunned because they ran out of disables. And now you're out of that danger zone. Got an Aegis now in DNM's hands. There's almost no way for Beast Coast to contest this. In fact, being outside of the base is insane in Dark Mago. Well, you're going to get punished for this.
Man, he's dead. Ghost Ship does come in after the fact, but it's far too little and way, way too late. They go right back into the pit, and Red 2 has DC, so not quite able to finish off Roshan just yet. 50 HP, but it's about to go down. DNM's going to grab himself an Aegis, and well, at this point, if you're Beast Coast, DT, it feels like you're down to somewhere in the realm of 2 to 3 more fights, and if you don't get a win in those fights, then the game just will end.
Yeah, 5RAT have only been able to get this first big objective. They've still got to knock down the majority of these tier 2 towers. They need to get Glyph, and yeah, he's just farming, but then same problem as in game 1. The physical damage just comes through anyway. Morphling is just too big at this stage of the game, and DNM, it might not be as fast as Parker's, it might not be as big as Parker's, but it's still coming. It still doesn't look like it's going to matter, and as long as 5RAT can connect onto these tier 2s, these pushes are just going to work. This game doesn't get any easier for Beast Coast. Some freak of nature has to happen, as they're looking for Sacred's BKB bottom, and Sacred is turning in. He's looking for speed kill.
Okay. Global comes out, but it's a little too late. Sacred gets the kill. He TPs away. I think Schofield is going to get left behind there. Yeah. Telekinesis will catch him out, so you do have to sacrifice the support, but that's a big kill. Sacred gets some much-needed gold, and without speed, maybe 5RAT are a little bit more hesitant to push their way forward, but they are looking for Dark Mago, recognizing he doesn't have any backup at the moment, but ups his BKB, falls back to the tower. And Beast Coast will just kind of reset and try to get themselves out of here as Stinger, well, I mean, he is dropping slowly. They do manage to bring him down. Meanwhile, that is Stolen Kisses coming into play, so Dark Mago suddenly really doesn't have a move to make here, and he can't get back home. Already used his BKB, and 5RAT know that. They're just going to keep on chasing him. There's the swashbuckle into the shield crash, into the kill, and oh, by the way, while that was going down, Sacred gets picked off as well. The tier 2 tower is finished by DNM, and yeah, that's it. GG, they'll just call it there.
Yeah. Beast Coast just no. Feels too impossible, and 5RAT very confidently bounced back here in game 2. I think Draft looked better. Red 2 got his hero. DNM very quietly just got to exist in that top lane for so much time, and then too little too late. The 4-man of 5RAT, though, really just played out of their mind. They were just exactly where they needed to be. They dragged Sacred begrudgingly out of what was a pretty one lane for the Primal Beast. Sacred didn't want to go anywhere, but because he feels like he needs to make up the mid lane losing, the bottom lane giving up just a few too many kills that they're comfortable with, he gives up the world to DNM. And I think Dark Mago, 1-10-4. This is probably the saddest Dark Mago game I think I've ever seen. He just got played on early. Moose was always in his lane, and it all comes down from just Speed being able to be left alone on that Nature's Prophet. He's fine versus the Enchantress, and I think that's probably the biggest failure here for Beast Coast. Their Enchantress SF lane doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't give you that kill potential onto Speed whenever the Rubik rotates out of the lane, so he's fine. Mid lane is a dumpster fire, and once Sacred has to leave, then suddenly you're losing 2 out of the 3 lanes, and then randomly Parker dies. Randomly, the teamfight spells from 5RAT are just too strong, and Beast Coast get their BKBs, but it's just too late. It's too much time. It's too much net worth, and there's no way for them to mount a comeback.
Beast Coast, I mean, well, they allowed their opponents to have their comfort, right? They get Pango, they get Prophet, they get Rubik. DNM, I'd still say very comfortable on the Morphling, even if he doesn't get to play it all that often, but they get a little overconfident, right? Thinking, okay, we're going to try something different. We're going to pick the Enchantress up. We're going to swing that Shadow Fiend last pick when we don't have last overall, and moves like that really sort of put them in a very high-risk scenario, and in this instance, ET, the risk does not pay off in the slightest.
Yeah, I think now for that game 3, that best of 1, that elimination game that these teams are going to have to play, we're going to have to see some drastic change in the bans. And that's where, there aren't enough bans. Something's going to get through Do
Mm.
5 Red just decide to Rubik Nature's Prophet it again? I think Beast Coast are probably the team to blink first, but that's also where I would love 5 Rat to just first phase the Pango. The ban is coming. They know that they probably have to get greedy, otherwise Red 2's not going to find his hero, and I think they just need Red 2 Pango. They just desperately need it. They've already proven that they can win with it. They've proven that he can lane versus Dark Mago. It's just a matter of whether or not he gets his comfort, I think.
Mm-hmm. Can they get him the Pangolier? Will we see changes in the bans? Will someone decide to ban Morphling? Who knows? I mean, at this point, the Morph ban does kind of feel like it should be in there because we have now had 2 games, 2 Morphlings, no deaths for either one of them. So somebody might need to get on that. But we'll see what Game 3 has in store. Going to be coming your way in about 10 minutes here. So we will step aside and see which team survives and who ends up going home. So stick around and we'll be back in a bit.